It's showtime. Time for the franchise show. We do it every week. I'm one of the people who hosts it, Daniel Ehrenberg, and that's my co-host over there, horizontal stripe, second week in a row. Logan, be a dare.
That was the I wore the stripes for when I turned my photo on for Taylor Swift, by the way. So people didn't really see that.
Oh, really?
But regardless,
Never mind.
to you
All
guys.
right, but check out He Swift, our best show on
That
Patreon.
that's true. But guys, I have some important news. I'm very excited to talk about Tim Burton. I hadn't seen a lot of his movies, so I watched 9 of them
Wow,
within actually 11 including the Beetlejuice movies. But
9/11. That brings us back to last week too.
that's very true. But we're not going to talk about that again. We're going to talk about Tim Burton and Beetlejuice because I'm very excited. What
All
about
right.
you, Daniel?
I as well am excited. I'm a big Beetlejuice guy. Owned it on VHS as a child and loved it. Watched it many times and still revisit it occasionally. It'd probably been like 3-4 years since the last time I watched it. And it's sequel scared me. I got worried, and it turns out didn't hate it, which is rare for me these days.
Just in general for movies,
Yeah, just for anything.
especially franchise movies. I feel like every week we come on, we get real close to quitting the show, but not this week. We're pretty excited. But did you like this
Oh,
more than Alien Romulus?
yeah, I did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
I
kind of
didn't
didn't.
love it or anything. I had some problems with it.
Of
I'll always
course,
look, it's a sequel
Monica
to a 30,
Bellucci.
yeah. It's a sequel to a 36-year-old movie. So like it's not going to be great. It's like
That can have Blade Runner 2049. I think that's great.
I mean, I don't think either one of those movies is great.
Well, I like
But
you. Do you like the second more than the first one?
not about even.
Yeah, that's fair. You got to
I
pick.
if I had to pick, I
How'd
might
you
choose.
rank them?
I think I went with a sequel tops.
Okay. Is that the
Yeah.
episode that's impossible to listen to?
Yes, yeah, the sound is terrible on the Blade Runner episode.
Is either that or
And
Aliens?
they like got genuinely mad at me. Like we did Henry and we had a co-host or a guest that week, Jan Martino, who's great. But I did this thing where I watched Soldier because I had read that it
Mm-hmm.
takes place in the Blade Runner universe, and they both like seemed actually mad at me for wanting to talk about it.
I remember that. Yeah. From what little I do remember of that episode.
I don't have good memories of that episode.
No.
All right, anyway, and I recorded in a weird apartment. I was like house sitting for a girl I was dating's ex roommate. It was odd. It was an
That
odd
is odd.
atmosphere. Yeah. Anyway, um, back to this. Let's start with the Burton ranking because I'm excited to see what you've watched and where you have stuff. Now we were talking before the episode about Burton, and you were saying some people hate him. And my argument is I don't think anyone hates Burton. I think anyone you talk to is going to acknowledge that it started well, you know, and,
Absolutely.
and everyone has a certain point where it went downhill. Some people say as early as Mars Attacks. Some people say, yeah, I know you liked Mars Attacks, but some people say, maybe closer to Planet of the Apes. Like that's when it started. Some people will give him even a few more years. Say it didn't happen till maybe Alice in Wonderland or something. But
I think he had
I
a few. I think Planet of the Apes is one, and then he sort of got it back. Big Fish is good. Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, and then the other
yeah,
when he fell off again was Alice in Wonderland.
that's where I'm at with him though. Is like I don't think it's been a serious through line like that. Like I think his early stuff is so consistently great that he has a rep as like one of the top guys at that time. But I don't think he ever fully went downhill. He's just made some bad movies.
Yeah, and then even after Alice, we like Dark Shadows, both of us. Frankenweenie's good. Big Eyes is good. Miss Peregrine's fun. Dumbo's fun.
I'm
Even
looking
this
at my
movie.
list here. I've seen 21 Tim Burton movies, and I only have three of them below a three.
So what did you add? What did you the Frankenweenie short?
Oh
Because I
yeah,
believe this is his 20th movie.
yeah. I have the Frankenweenie short on here.
Okay. And I did not watch Pee Wee or Alice in Wonderland because we're going to cover those. So I've only seen 18 of his movies.
Okay, okay.
So you
Uh,
say three of his movies first, and then we'll go back and forth. You think
all
we should
right.
do that?
Yeah, 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 yeah. 21 Planet of the Apes. We covered it earlier this year. It doesn't get worse than that. 20 Mars Attacks.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Holy shit.
I know Logan loved it. And you know what? I support you loving that movie. Mars Attacks, like it came out in 96. I was 10 years old. Okay. I went to go see it in theaters. I was really excited about it and I thought it sucked. All right. But then I didn't watch it for like years, like until like last year or something. And it had developed such a reputation since then as like the underrated Tim Burton movie. And I was like all primed to love it, and then I still didn't. But like I respect. It's you know it's like how you felt about me on "Sad Beautiful Tragic" when we talked about that
Right.
song on the
But I've
Taylor
completely
record.
turned around on that. You're not going to do that here.
I want to though,
Okay.
and you know
I
what?
expected.
I did turn around. I think the first 40 minutes or something is really good.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, I just thought they kept it throughout. But I know what you're
all
saying.
right,
I
yeah,
do know what you're saying. Like up through like Jack Black dying and stuff. He's so funny in that movie.
yeah. Thanks for adding that. I had to finish sipping my
Yeah. Now I can
cherry
see when you
Coke
did.
Zero.
Otherwise, I would have just been sitting here,
That's a good point. You would have.
not knowing
That's
what to
that. This
do.
is a good part of video.
By the way, I'm pretty shocked right now. I would have thought you would say at least Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Alice in Wonderland
I
before Mars
that
Attacks.
those are next.
Okay.
19 Alice in Wonderland, 18 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Okay, so I'll come in. I agree with last place Planet of the Apes. That's my 18.
Okay. 16 I have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Okay, my 17. Wait, did you say you're 16?
I meant 17.
Okay. My 17 is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
All right, all right. My 16 is Dumbo.
Could we do the Chocolate Factory? We count prequels like the Charlie and then the prequel
Oh,
Wonka?
I feel that now we could.
I have never thought about that once.
Yeah, yeah, we could do the Chalamet.
Okay. So, what'd you say your 16 was?
Dumbo.
Okay. So my 16 is Miss Peregrine, School for Peculiar Children.
Yeah. 16 15, sorry, is Corpse Bride.
I'm not liking this so far. But my 15, I am agreeing here. I'm just going up the list with you. 15 is Dumbo.
All right, 14, I got Sleepy Hollow.
Wow, surprising me here. My 14 is going to be Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Okay, okay. My 13, I got Dark Shadows.
Same.
Oh, okay. 12, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Okay. I tossed what's better, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice or Dark Shadows. They seem really close in my
Yeah,
mind.
they are. I agree.
Yeah. 12 is Frankenweenie, the film. I've not
All
seen the
right.
short.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 11, Batman.
Oh, Batman. No, 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 no. My
Yeah.
11, you can't see because I'm wearing glasses, but I got big eyes right now.
Oh boy. Number I can still see him. You you were making it work. All right, top 10 Burtons. My number 10 is Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street.
Same.
All
Sweeney
right.
Todd. Sweeney Todd. That was my impression of Sweeney
Yeah,
Todd.
good job. Number 9 is the Frankenweenie feature.
Oh, okay. My number 9 is Sleepy Hollow.
Okay,
That's a cool
okay.
one.
8 is Big Eyes.
Big eyes. My number 8 is Batman.
All right, 7, I got the Frankenweenie short.
Okay, I gotta check that out then. I saw he made another one called like Beetle Man or something weird like that. Seven is Corpse Bride. I love that one. That's so cute.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That's nice. You like the Johnny Depp ones, huh?
Yeah, it's all
Uh,
right.
six, I've got Big Fish.
Me too. Haven't, but I feel like that's the most unfair. I saw that when I was 10 or 11. I haven't seen it since.
I owned it on DVD. I watched it a few times.
Really. That's
Yeah,
about his father, right? His dad.
yeah, yeah. Albert Finney and Ewan McGregor.
Hmm.
Um, five is Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
We didn't say heavy hitters, but heavy hitters.
Very
My
good
number
job.
five is sucks that I couldn't see that one. I wanted to. Number five, Mars Attacks. You're second to last place. You're 20. It's my number
Yeah.
five.
All right. Number four is Ed Wood.
My number four is maybe your number one, Batman Returns.
No, my number three is Batman Returns.
Okay. My number three is Beetlejuice.
Okay. My number two, Edward Scissorhands.
I knew that was gonna happen. That's my number two also.
So what's your number one?
What's your number one?
It's Beetlejuice.
Okay, mine is Ed Wood.
Oh, all
Edward
right.
J something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Edward J.
Fair.
Wood.
That's fair enough.
I freaking love that movie.
It's quite a film.
By the way, we're screwed. We've said the title of both Beetlejuices, so he's now summoned.
Good point. You're right. Yeah. Now, if you say both of them, you can't talk about this franchise.
Yeah, we're donezo. But
Yeah.
did you know? I forgot you could say home, 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 and go home and like go like get rid of them. Do you know that?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Gina Davis just seems to like improvise that. It's like she
She must
just
have read it in the book
she's.
though,
Oh, that's a good
but we
point,
just didn't
man.
see that part.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you can't show all these scenes of them sitting around reading.
Right. It's what makes this so good about this movie. They don't really they explain like just the right amount, you know?
I thought it was really clever in the second movie that like he's got that book. He's like the kid who turns out to be a ghost, and like it's a twist later. But if you have like that cognitive dissonance at first, where it's like, how does he have that book?
I believed it because he was like into like vinyls and like weird
Yeah,
art. He said he was like got it
yeah,
at a yard sale. I was like, oh, that seems like
yeah. He
that
said he
type
got
of
in like a
thing.
thrift shop or something, and
Yeah,
and I'm like, maybe he's just like Lydia was a kid, like he could see weird shit because she could see the book
right.
in the original. It's a good twist.
Well,
It worked out.
they all could see that because Otho takes the book. That's how they do the seance. They can
Oh,
see the
that's
book.
a
They
good
just she's
point.
the only one who can see the Maitlands.
Yeah, yeah. Otho.
Oh, he's cool. He died in real life. You know that?
Yeah, he passed away. He was friends with Tim Burton. They used to hang out in the pool together.
Really?
Yeah, I read that.
What
I
does that mean? Like between like after
like
shoots?
between movies, like they would just be like in a pool. Like I read a story about them hanging out in a pool, and Tim Burton was telling him about Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Where would that rank on your list? Do you
Oh,
think?
that's a good question. Yeah, it's
I
not
haven't seen that
technically
either.
directed by Burton. It's a Henry Selick joint, but Burton was heavy involved.
Like around Batman
No,
11 or so.
where would I have it ranked? You mean?
Rewrite.
Let me see. No, it'd be higher than that. I think I'd
Around Big
have,
Fish.
yeah, around Big Fish, like maybe one slot ahead of Big Fish.
Okay.
No, wait, not Big Fish, Big Eyes.
Which one did you like more? Big
I'd have
Fish,
it
right?
between Big Fish and Big Eyes. Yeah, Big
Okay.
Fish better.
Okay.
Um, but a lot of people love that fucking movie too.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a lot at my store that I work at, my shitty little boutique, and it's
Oh, come
great
on.
store, great store.
Come on.
In the MGM, if you want to come visit me, we've got tons of Nightmare Before Christmas merch. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Hey, you want a ramen bowl with that girl Sally on it? I could sell you one.
Which Blink 182 song is it that's mentioned in? We'll be
Yeah,
like Jack and Sally. Which one is that?
I don't know.
Come on. You know, I'm gonna look it up.
Please
Like,
look it up.
yeah.
Maybe we'll end the episode with it if you don't
Oh,
want
we
to end with
will.
Deo or
Oh, yeah, that's a good
whatever.
point.
Yeah. All right. Um, should we get into this?
Yeah, I say we
Or
do.
or should I wait for you to look up this Blink 182
No, I
song?
mean you can keep going. I miss you. It's I miss you.
I miss you.
I
Oh,
miss
that's
you,
a
miss you.
don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head.
I miss you, miss you.
Yeah, yeah. Good job.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm the.
You're not gonna say good job to me for that
Oh no, you. Oh,
rendition
yours was
of Tom
amazing.
Ball. Thank
I
you.
didn't need to be said. But yeah, I'm the. What's the other guy? You're Tom, and I'm
Mark Hoppus.
Mark. Yeah, he's cool.
Mm-hmm. And then Travis, he's off in the corner fucking a Kardashian.
Oh, oh yeah.
Yeah. So Burton Burton actually I always thought he was involved in the development of Beetlejuice right from the start, but he was not. He
Really?
came on relatively late in the process.
Well, he. I feel like he kind of does that a lot in his movies. Like, I mean, he doesn't write any of his movies. He's sort of just they're just like, hey, do this.
But a lot of the early ones, like Edward Scissorhands, he was involved in like right from the and Nightmare Before Christmas. He was involved in right from the beginning, and even when he didn't write them, he like hired the writers.
Okay, but not this
Yeah,
one.
not this one.
Okay.
This was written. It was the story credit is Michael McDowell and Larry Wilson. They were partners at the time. Larry Wilson was a producer as well as a writer, and Michael McDowell was a writer guy.
It's not like Malcolm McDowell. Michael McDowell.
A little bit, yeah.
Mhm.
And they wrote this together. They had written already an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Now, Alfred Hitchcock Presents was a show from the 60s where like Alfred Hitchcock would like introduce a little horror tale. It was like an anthology show. And they tried to reboot it in the mid 80s. And it only lasted one season. But Tim Burton directed one episode of it, and it was written by these guys. So
Okay.
that's how they knew each other.
All right. Do they ever
Yeah.
work again after this together?
He Michael McDowell worked on Nightmare Before Christmas.
Hmm.
Uh, but I don't believe he worked with Larry Wilson again.
Okay. All right.
But
That's all right.
Larry Wilson wrote Adam's Family, which feels like a Tim Burton movie, kind of.
That's right. And it stars Christina Ricci, who he
Good,
works with.
yeah, good point.
Only the once though, which seems weird. Seems like that would have been one of a favorite of his.
I don't know, man. He's
Right?
Yeah, it's true. He gets these like muses. Like he'll work with actresses for years. It was Winona Ryder, and then it
I
was
have a list here. I actually did something like that. I was gonna
H.
do it when we got to Bellucci, but so since Ed Wood, okay, all except for two of his movies, Frank and Winnie and Big Eyes. Yeah, he said so. Lisa Marie was in Ed Wood, Mars Attacks, Sleepy Hollow, and Planet of the Apes. And then Helena Bonham Carter, he works with the first time on Planet of the Apes, but then she's in Big Fish, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, Alice in Wonderland, Dark Shadows. And then he moves on to Eva Green in Dark Shadows, and she's in Miss Peregrine and Dumbo. And then Monica Bellucci's in Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Can I ask you a
13 in a row.
question?
Or not, not
I
in a
I
row.
I was wondering if the Monica Bellucci part in Beetlejuice was conceived for Eva Green.
Did you know they were together when you watched the movie?
Who?
Him and Monica Bellucci.
No, I didn't know that until right now.
Oh, you didn't know that? Oh shit.
Tim
Yeah,
Burton is dating Monica Bellucci.
that's why she's in the movie and her role is so freaking pointless.
I had no idea.
Like
Oh my
we're
god.
forced to Beetlejuice backstory. I mean, we'll get into it, but like she was his girl, like wife prior, and then she just dies suddenly at the end. It's like
Yeah, that
she's only in
sucks.
it. Yeah, it
Cut
totally
that out of the
sucks.
movie completely.
Absolutely, yeah,
All right.
that's crazy. It's cool, and we'll get into it.
Okay. So all right. So they had written it, and then Warren Scarron was brought in by Geffen, who had bought the script to make it lighter and funnier.
Okay, well, you did a
Um,
good job.
he did, yeah. Uh, uh he Warren Scarron later worked with Burton again on Batman Returns, I think.
Okay,
And he was like a hot writer at the time because he'd worked on Top Gun, which was a big hit, and he worked on Beverly Hills Cop 2 as well.
those probably
Now
aren't big hits because of the writing. It's because Tony Scott.
No,
directed.
I agree, but I mean, if you hey,
True,
he's got a hot streak going, bring
true,
him
true,
in.
true.
All right, and Warren Scarron and Michael McDowell, they're I was when I saw who was writing Beetlejuice, I was so upset. It's this fucking Smallville guys that created Wednesday for him, and I
Oh,
was like, why wouldn't they bring back like one of the original Beetlejuice writers? And then I was doing research for this episode. Michael McDowell died of AIDS
oh,
in like the 90s, and Warren Scarron had fucking bone cancer, and or he worked on the first Batman, not Batman Returns, and he died in 1990.
damn. Well, then we mentioned Otho, but the woman who works down at the Land of the Undead or whatever, like the receptionist, she
Yeah.
also died
Well,
pretty
she's
young.
old as
No,
hell.
no, she was in her 50s. She was in her
What are you
50s.
talking about? She looks older than her 50s in Beetlejuice.
Not the old woman, the
Oh.
receptionist, like the green receptionist lady
Oh, she died?
of some sort of lymphoma when she was like in her like 55 or so. And then
Interesting.
Otho, he
And
fell off a
that
ladder or something and died.
what?
I looked it up. Yeah, he was like he was in he lived in Alabama, by the way.
Is
But
there
he
a
was.
Beetlejuice curse?
I'm starting to think it's possible. I don't know. And we'll talk about the sex offender, I guess, a little
Oh
too.
yeah. Yeah, we sure will. Because
We're forced to
he has
because
the biggest part in Beetlejuice of anybody. He's the
it's
star of the
crazy.
movie.
It's wild.
Yeah. Um, all right. So Burton gets involved after the Warren Scarron screenplay, and he's brought in to start casting this bad boy, and went through a bunch of shit. So Beetlejuice in the script was he was like a Jamaican fella or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So they were looking at black actors. Tim Burton wanted Sammy Davis Jr.
Okay. He's cool.
Yeah. But it was David Geffen, the president of Geffen, who suggested Michael Keaton. So
He's
Tim
not black.
Burton, nine. Well, yeah, that was Hollywood back then. But, it worked out, and Burton
What's going on?
then used him as Batman.
Oh, you started to cut out. You're good now.
Oh, all right. Um, all right. The Lydia role, a lot of actors and actresses
I think they
auditioned.
prefer actors actually.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. A lot of them auditioned for it. It was like pretty much every big young actor at the time. I saw like Juliette Lewis on the list.
Should have been cool.
Apparently, yeah, she would have been cool. But the runner-up was apparently Alyssa Milano.
Should have been cool too.
Yeah. But Burton had seen Lucas, which is a film that Winona Ryder was in. It's good coming of ager with
Who else
Matt
is in that?
Matt Dillon's in it.
Okay.
Worth the wait, is he?
I don't know.
It's
I thought
based on
Crispin Glover was in that.
you're thinking of Willard. No,
Oh yeah, you're right. Shit.
it's based on one of those novels by that fella or the lady, S.E. Hinton, who wrote The Outsiders and Rumblefish. I think that's why I was thinking of Matt Dillon. But no, it's actually Corey Haim.
Is he dead?
Yeah, he's dead.
No.
And it's got Charlie Sheen in there as well, young Charlie Sheen. But
Okay.
that's a good film, Lucas. It's worth a look if you've never seen it.
Charlie
And
Sheen was really cool.
of course he was.
He was a good actor too.
He still is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he do now?
He's surviving the disease that killed Michael McDowell.
Remember when Henry laughed for 20 minutes because of Wheels from Friday the 13th? That was so
That's
fun. That's
legendary,
like one of the
man.
best moments on the
Yeah,
franchise
if
ever.
anyone ever put together like a best of the franchise comp,
Number one,
that'd be on there for sure.
top two at least. And it was not number two, I don't think.
No, I think you're right.
But two would definitely be a me moment
I hope so.
for my sake.
Okay, so and the title. Oh wait, what other casting shit? Angelica Houston was originally cast as Delia, but she dropped out. She got sick or something.
She's
And
used to dealing with the dead.
What's that a reference? Oh, what?
She's in the movie The Dead.
Oh, the dead.
That was
Very
a great
good.
joke.
That was a pretty good joke, honestly.
Thank you.
Um, all right. So Beetlejuice was the original title for the movie. Geffen comes in. They're like, what if we called it House Ghosts?
So they kick him off the movie.
and and Burton responded to this with a joke, apparently. He was like, oh, well, why don't we just call it Scared Sheetless?
That's pretty funny.
And then Geffen was like horrified, like, or Burton was horrified that Geffen responded to that by going like, "Not bad, we'll consider it."
Hell, that's how I responded. That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
Can I? Why is his name spelled differently than the way the movie is spelled? I never really understood that. It's
Well,
such a weird choice.
it is a weird choice, but I do think
I'm
it's
not
more
complaining.
marketable with the
But why
spelled
is his name
juice.
spelled that way?
Well, that's the name of like a constellation, isn't it? Or a star.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, Betelgeuse.
I don't know. I guess you answered my question.
I guess so.
You feeling sick this morning?
I feel like I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless you. You know, if you
Oh,
said it before this,
preemptive, bless you.
it'll stop it.
I think
Or
it
if I
might
or if I
work.
scare you. Oh, wait, that's the hiccups, isn't it?
Yeah, scare me sheetless.
I will.
Yeah,
I thought about finding a sheet, putting it on to open the episode.
pretty good.
Hmm
You should have.
I don't want
All
to
right,
cut holes in a good sheet though.
you should have cut like a mustache hole. That'd be
That
good.
that'd be really funny.
Yeah. All right. Awards.
Oh,
How about the Oscars?
okay,
It was nominated for an Oscar, Logan. And you know
okay.
what? It won the one Oscar it was nominated for.
Right, production design.
Makeup.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
The makeup's sorry.
I like to think it won for that part where his face, Alec Baldwin pulls his head into like a bird shape.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Alec Baldwin's in this movie. He didn't kill anyone on the set, either on purpose or by accident.
It's true. That's a
Yeah.
fact that we
Yeah.
know. Let's not talk about
It's,
it. That
it's
makes me
not
so
what
sad.
it's not true on every Alec Baldwin movie, but it is true on this one.
On 99% of them.
I'd have to see the math.
You're right. You're right. Probably that's not true. But
Yeah.
that's so tragic.
What's tragic? What that lady
That he
died?
killed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it
someone else
is.
got blamed for it.
Who got blamed for it?
Like the armsman or whatever on
Well,
the
that
set.
they should have gotten blamed for.
I
I was
know,
reading
but he
a lot
just like
about
got
that.
off and she like took all the blame.
It's
She took the
crazy.
fall.
But let's not forget, Alec Baldwin one time pulled the trigger of a gun. A bullet came out of that
It wasn't
gun.
his responsibility to check though.
I'm just saying, he
Mm.
fired a gun that killed a human being.
It's hard to
That's
blame him though.
wild. And I know it's. I agree, but that is a crazy fact.
It is. That could happen to anybody. Like Ryan Gosling's life could be ruined 30 years from now because he could
I
do
mean, it
something.
happened to that one dude on the set of The Crow, right? Like that. I think that was an actor that fired the gun that killed Brandon Lee.
Yeah, we never heard from him again.
No, he was around a little bit. I mean,
I thought we
probably
got to do
felt
the Crow.
horrible. Oh, that's right. We've covered The Crow.
And
We've
it
got to
just
do the new
released
Crow. It's
on
on
digital.
Rossflix.
Yeah. So maybe
Mhm.
next week. Did we just figure out what we're doing next week?
Maybe let's just do that.
One movie? We just did Alien Romulus last week. Isn't that? I feel like listeners would be mad about that. Like one episode, one movie
So you
episode.
want to do it as like a bonus episode?
We could do that, but we didn't decide what we're doing next week. We decided on Halloween, but not the filler
Oh
for
yeah.
next week. Should we take a break
Oh,
at the end and discuss it for a second?
I guess so.
Okay. So we don't know yet, guys, but when we get to the end, we'll take a break and then we'll be right back. And let
Maybe
you know.
we'll come up with something while we're talking.
Oh, that'll be fun. I kind of don't like
Yeah.
that because I feel like those are always your favorite things.
Those are all my favorite things.
I know. I want to do
What's the problem with that?
I want to do SpongeBob.
That's not a 1 week.
I
There's so
know.
more than two of those.
I want to do.
You want to talk about sexy Squidward?
Yeah, sexy Squidward. That was so funny. We could do. Nah, we'll discuss it later.
All right, listen. More awards. The
Yeah.
BAFTAs. They nominated it for makeup as well, but it lost to The Last Emperor, Bernardo Bertolucci. And
Okay.
they nominated for visual effects as well, but it lost to Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
That's fair.
All right, yeah, I agree. And it also lost that award at the oh no, it Kids Choice Awards. They nominated for best movie.
Yeah, kids loved it.
Yeah, but it lost to
Did you
Roger
love it
Rabbit.
when it came out?
Beetlejuice?
Oh wait, you're like 2 years old,
Yeah, I saw it as a kid, but it had been out for a couple of years.
and you loved it immediately.
Oh yeah. I was young. Like I saw it when I was probably like 5 or 6, and like I fucking loved it.
I feel like a lot of your generation, Burton was like the guy, and he
You know
because he
what?
had this and these and Batman.
There was also a Beetlejuice animated series that we probably
Right.
should have watched an episode of.
True.
Because we did that with Adam's Family. And so I loved that cartoon. And so that helped me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Like
Michael Keaton didn't come back, or did he?
no, but the guy who did the voice in the cartoon did a good job. And so I feel like things I maybe would have been scared of as a kid in the movie didn't scare me because it had already been disarmed for me by the cartoon.
Yeah, that's good. Now we have
Yeah.
school shootings. We're not scared of anything anymore.
Oh yeah.
Hell
Who
yeah,
cares?
America. That's oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. You know, Trump's getting shot every other day.
No, it happened once.
What about the second time? You
It's
think that
a,
was a false flag
what do
operation?
you mean the second time? What second time?
He just got attacked on a golf course. You didn't hear about this?
No, I haven't been online. I haven't checked anything.
Yeah,
How's he
just tell him.
surviving?
Well, some people say maybe he staged this one.
Oh, people said he staged the last one.
Yeah, I know.
I still don't know what happened with the last one. I mean,
I
there
don't.
were real bullets. People died.
I don't know what the fuck is going on in this country.
I don't either.
All right. It was a big winner, this film, at our good friends the Saturn Awards.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the genre award show. It won the Saturn Award for best horror film,
Okay, that's fair.
which is interesting, beating Dead Ringers and Nightmare on Elm Street 4, whatever. I don't know. Child's Play was in there.
Oh, that should win.
All right. Sylvia Sidney, who plays what's her name?
Uh,
Juno.
Juno.
Yeah, she won the award for best supporting actress.
That's cool. She's also in
Yeah.
Mars Attacks.
Oh yeah.
Jack Black has like a wimp
Who
brother.
not in Mars Attacks?
It's true. It's true. That's what makes that movie awesome. But she plays Jack Black's grandma, like the little boy's trying to go get his grandma at the end of the movie. She's so funny in that movie too.
All right. It also won the award for uh best writing
That's fair.
and best makeup.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
makeup's really good. It's so good that in the new one, I don't want to say the name. We already said it enough times. But when you can't really tell that he's aged. I don't think the makeup is so
Yes,
good.
you can. Yes, you fucking can.
I didn't notice it that much.
I are you kidding me? The second he showed up, I'm like, that's a problem with making a sequel to like an afterlife movie because the characters aren't supposed to age.
Well, that's maybe
Like,
why Gina Davis and Baldwin aren't in it.
no, which makes sense. Yeah, and that's fine. Although they
Right.
wrote them out, it's so odd that they like spent like 20 minutes explaining why Jeffrey Jones is in the movie.
They don't even
And then
touch on
like
the
Gina
others.
Davis and Alec Baldwin, they literally said, "Yeah, they found a loophole."
Oh, I hated
Uh,
that. What was
yeah,
that?
all right.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, Keaton, it's like you're fucking 40
I thought you looked
in,
great.
in the original, and
A
now
little
you're
fat, but what are you gonna do?
Wait, how old was he in the original? Maybe 30?
He had to have been in his 30s.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
I'll look up
So
his
yeah,
birthday.
he looks much fucking older.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
They did a good job with the makeup.
It's like vampire stuff. You watch like the first season of Buffy and the last season of Angel.
By the way, Michael Keaton was 37 years old. Fun fact about Michael Keaton: his name's Michael Douglas.
I know that.
Yeah, I always forget about that though.
Yeah. It's so weird.
That is so weird.
All right, more Saturn awards. You want to hear?
Mm-hmm.
Burton was nominated for director, but he lost to Robert Zemeckis for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It was nominated for music, but it lost to Hellraiser 2. I'm like, is the music in Hellraiser 2 really great? Because like
Maybe
Danny
we'll
Elfman
find
kind
out.
of rules. Oh, we might. Yeah, good point. Visual effects, it lost to Roger Rabbit. Michael Keaton was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he lost to Robert Loggia for his performance in Big.
Who's he in
You
Big?
Oh, he's the boss at work. He
I
does the
thought that
big
was
piano jump.
I thought that was like John Hurd.
What?
Isn't
No,
John Hurd that guy in Big?
no.
William Hurd? John Hurt? I always forget to mix up those guys'
It's
names.
Robert Loggia.
Okay. Who am I thinking of that's in Big?
I don't know.
All right, I'm sorry.
Tom Hanks.
No, I'm right. John Hurd's in that movie. He's just not that same character. But he's like a bad guy. He's like a villain. He plays like the
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, no. There's a benevolent boss at the toy company, and then there's like John Hurt is like trying to take Hanks down. Like, who is this fucking guy?
Oh, okay. He just works there with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry about that.
All right. And you don't have to apologize.
Okay.
That's an easy mistake to make.
Okay. All right.
All right. All right. And writing, it lost to Big as well, which I kind of love. Big is a great movie.
It is great. It's so weird though.
Should we do 88?
I thought about it, but we just did Tim Burton. I didn't want to bore people.
All right. Well, maybe now we do it.
All right, we'll bore some people. Uh, you want to go first? I don't have my list anywhere. Oh, I got my list right here. So my number 10, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? My number 9, Working Girl. You ever see that one? That's a cute movie. Mike Nichols.
I love Working Girl. It's
No,
just outside my top 10. It
you
should
don't.
be in my top 10.
It's really good. Number 8, Heathers. Speaking of Winona, by the way, Winona Ryder, one of the best actor names of all time. I love that name. It's like with
Yeah.
Faye Dunaway. It's like up there with like some of those names.
Fading
7.
away.
Wow. 7, They Live. 6, Big. 5, Cinema Paradiso. 4, Beetlejuice. 3, The Vanishing. 2, Midnight Run. 1, Die Hard.
All right. That's good. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story,
Yeah,
which
you
I
love
have in
that.
my top 10, but is not a feature length film. So it won't be on my list. All right. But my actual list is number 10, Midnight Run. Number 9, The Thin Blue Line.
Mm.
Number 8, The Last Temptation of Christ. Number 7, Big. Number 6, Permanent Record.
Always wanted to watch that.
Yeah. Number 5, They Live. Number 4, Beetlejuice. Number 3, Die Hard. Number 2, The Vanishing. And number 1, Dead Ringers.
When's the last time you saw Midnight Run? That's a freaking great movie.
I'll tell you what, that was like a real blind spot for me for years. I'd never seen it until 2022.
Oh shit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched it recently too. I freaking loved it. It was awesome. Or one of my
Like
favorite De Niro's ever.
in my review, this is like so good, and I feel like a real dolt for never having watched it before.
Yeah.
For some reason I wrote this. Like, I've probably seen Black Sheep 7 or 8 times, but I turned my nose up at this.
I don't know Black Sheep.
That's like a Chris Farley, David Spade movie.
Yeah. Big mistake by you.
I don't know why that came to mind.
Sometimes it's good though to see some good movies late. I'm glad I saved all the Kubricks for late. I had only really seen The Shining until my 20s.
You're not even late.
So this is the latest I've ever
you're
been.
still a young boy.
But I'm the latest I've ever been.
That's true. You're always the oldest you've ever been.
Yeah, it's cool to
Oh,
think
that's
about.
a depressing feeling for me.
It's true. But it's sort of cool sometimes.
Like, I felt old a couple days ago, and I'm
Now
older.
you're older.
Oh yeah,
You gotta pull out your walking cane.
fucking terrible. Jesus. All right. Um,
Should we talk about the plot of the movie?
everyone knows the plot of
What
Beetlejuice.
should we talk about? We did the awards,
I don't even know what to talk about when it comes to
the
Beetlejuice.
cast.
Came in at number 10 at the box office between
Mm-hmm.
Cocktail and Working Girl. Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it's a brilliant conception. It's a brilliant idea for a movie, I
It's
think.
never boring for 1 second.
No, and it's an hour and a half. I'm like, oh shit. And when I saw that the original was an hour and a half, I was like, Beetlejuice is gonna be like 2 hours and 20 minutes
I had the
long.
same thought.
And I looked it up and hour 45, and I was like, kudos.
I had the same exact reaction.
Yeah.
I didn't
Um,
think it'd be 220, but I was like, it'll be
I didn't
208 at
yeah,
least.
I didn't think it would be 220, but I thought it'd be around two.
Yeah, definitely. But
Mm-hmm.
no, like the
Yeah.
Lion King situation. That was like a half hour, like longer than it was like 25% longer than it was the first time.
The
I think
animated one. I mean
the
the
when they
Favreau
redid
one.
it, but I think
Yeah.
they did that with the
Well,
Beauty
because
and the Beast
Dumbo
too.
was like that. Dumbo is
True.
the original Dumbo is an hour and 6 minutes long. It's barely a feature film.
But
And
isn't it the whole movie completely different? Like he just takes the concept and makes his own movie with it.
no,
No, oh, that's what I had
it's
heard.
just sort of expanded. But the Burton version is 2 hours long, and
Hmm.
so I just sort of assumed it was gonna be the same with the second Beetlejuice.
Right.
Like he's a dude that doesn't edit himself anymore. But
He still could have. Bellucci, you can cut out. I think
well,
Willem
it's
Dafoe.
an overstuffed movie, big time. But at the same time, like Beetlejuice is a movie like the original where just a lot's going on in a short amount of time. I think that's what he was going for with this. It's just that everything works in the original Beetlejuice and not everything does in the sequel.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, the first one though.
Yeah.
It's so
And
sad when they die, right?
yeah, well, they're a really likable couple. Like they
Hmm.
set them up. They're so that scene where they can't stop kissing each other on that couch.
Yeah, totally. And they
I'm
can't have a
like,
baby. They set that up really well.
they have
That
nice
woman.
chemistry too. Like Alec Baldwin, he's an actor I always say I don't like, but sometimes I like him.
Yeah, I don't really know that much about him.
Well, it's he's so blustery in so much stuff, and I don't love that. You know, even like Glenn Ross, which people say is like one of his best performances. I'm like not so sure about it. I've never been sure about his performance in that movie. But I sort of like when he puts that bullshit aside and acts like a normal person, which he does in this movie. Like there's none of that like I'm talking like this guy. You know, it's
Keanu, that's Keanu Reeves a little bit.
yeah, I guess you're right. That was more Keanu. But he's got this like he over pronounces things and enunciates and he lowers his voice to sound deeper than it normally does. I don't
He's like
know.
Jerry O'Connell a little bit to me.
Jerry O'Connell.
I don't know. I feel like he tries to
You
like
just
act
have
more. I
him on
don't.
the brain because he just fucking hosted an episode of Big Brother.
That's might be true. Like I just don't take them seriously, kind of.
No, yeah, I agree. Like, I have a hard time taking Alec Baldwin seriously, which is why he worked so well for me in 30 Rock, because you're not asked to. But like when he shows up in like the Mission Impossible movies, I'm like, you guys know that's Alec Baldwin, right? Like,
Right.
I can't.
And he's
I
so
like.
famous for the SNL for hosting SNL so many times. He's like the number one SNL guy,
I know,
or
like the
was.
number one thing I think of when I think of Alec Baldwin is that the Canteen Boy sketch where he's like playing a pervy Boy Scout uh, leader, troop leader guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I remember he's in A Star Is Born. He hosts SNL on A Star Is Born. He's like bringing out Allie, Lady Gaga's
really?
character. He's
That's
like,
so
yeah,
funny.
it is funny. Yeah.
Allie.
Allie.
That was her name. It was just Allie.
Ally.
Man. Stephanie Germanata.
Yeah,
Am I right?
probably.
Soon to play Harley Quinn. Shout out to Harley. All
Yeah.
right. Um
Oh man.
all right. So yeah, that's sad at the beginning when they die and stuff.
Love the
But
dog though. Dog, such a cute dog. When it steps off the plank and they that's what tips
oh,
him over.
I know. That would never happen today. Because dogs aren't allowed to be bad guys anymore.
Yeah, this is a villainous little dog.
How I say characters aren't allowed to be bad people
Flawed.
anymore? They're not. Yeah, characters aren't allowed to have flaws anymore. Neither are dogs.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
But this is like a thing with Tim Burton because the whole Frankenweenie story about a dog being hit, this happened to him totally, right?
Oh, when he was a kid, probably. Yeah.
Absolutely. He's tortured by that moment.
Yes.
It's really sad.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. So anyway. I mean, the whole beginning is it's gonna be so hard to talk about this movie because it's one of my favorite movies. Like I love basically everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So like the opening when it's doing the over panning around the town, and
Mm-hmm.
you get to learn the layout of the town, but it's also setting up that it's the model. Like
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
I love the we going on the house and it out and it's Tim Burton, so it's like you wonder if he's trying to pass it off as a real house, but it's like that's not a real house, that's a model house. And then there's
Yeah.
the giant spider plops on top, and you're like, is that a
Yeah.
giant spider? But it's a normal spider on a tiny house. It's just so well done, the whole
It's
thing.
so good.
And it makes him such a sweet character because he gets the spider and tosses it out the window rather than killing the spider.
That's
The
true.
whole little bit there.
It establishes that it's true. And then he goes out to the hardware store. I love the thing where the guy never stops talking while he's in the hardware store, and then he just leaves.
Yeah, I love that
Like
too.
it's nicely lived in and sweet, and this little hamlet they're setting up, and the design of that red bridge, like the covered bridge they go through, is great.
They do a great
And,
job in the new one of replicating it, I think.
yeah, I thought so too. It looked like it was the same thing.
Yeah. It's really iconic. I never think about that so much, but I will now going forward.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so they die, and then
They find the book.
yeah, they're bound to the house, and they
Yeah, that's
find the
right.
book, and they realize they're dead, and
The book for the recently deceased. Oh,
that is so good.
okay. It is good.
Uh,
Have we talked about how cute they are? They're a sexy couple too. You know they
they're
get down.
they get down, but they are adorable as well.
They
Like
are
you really
very
you
tall too.
it's nice. Like you get the sense like these are characters that were going to spend the rest of their lives together.
Yeah,
They just 100% were. So like why so you want them to spend eternity together too. So it makes it like extra scary at the end when like she starts like her body starts breaking
oh, I
down,
hate
and
that.
like yeah, like that's a horrible moment. It's only really horrible because you care about them so much.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely, totally.
The Maitlands.
Hmm.
All right, so they go through they build a door and they go
Oh yeah,
through.
like Drake and Josh. Am I right, guys?
Mm,
You guys know what I'm talking about.
I
The
don't.
treehouse they build. Great episode, one of the best.
Fuck off.
But
I
we got
thought
the
that
Drake and Josh movies. Maybe we'll do that next week. They have two movies.
they
Right?
didn't come out in theaters. We're never doing those.
Oh man, can't do Camp Rock.
We can do that if you want. We did High School
Okay.
Musical.
Well, that one had a theatrical
Oh,
third
that's
film.
true. That one, but Camp Rock was like a bigger deal. I think.
Hmm.
Like I think no one would complain if we did that.
No, I think they would love it actually.
I think some people would love it. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I'd get to talk about Demi Lovato, who
And the Jonas Brothers.
I have strong and complicated feelings about Demi Lovato. All right.
Hmm.
And I now have lots of opinions about Joe Jonas because I've heard lots of Taylor wrote a lot about him a lot.
It's true. I'm forgetting which ones.
Uh
Better than Revenge.
that was about Camilla Bell, who
Was
he
that about
was
him though?
with. Yeah, yeah, that's who he dated after her.
Yeah. So there we
Yeah.
go. If you didn't know that, guys. And listen to Heath Swift for more great tidbits about Taylor's songs.
Yeah, it's our most well-researched show.
Seriously, Daniel does a great job. Daniel does the research and I put it together.
Oh yeah, it's our best edited show as well.
Yeah, the most edited show, I would
It's
say.
the only one I listened to.
Yeah, that's right.
I was listening to it just before we started recording this morning.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So like I was listening to you talk, and then I was like, well, I guess I'll go talk to him for real.
Yeah, wow, what an
Yeah,
experience. You're
yeah,
so
yeah.
lucky.
I know. Every day I think about it. All right. All right. So when
So the
they
Dietzes move in.
right. Well, first of all, they go to the afterlife, which is all like
Oh yeah.
bureaucracy. Like that's great with like a waiting room, and it's so well designed. That little smashed up guy that goes through that little
Oh
hole in the
yes, I
wall.
love him.
I love that
And the
guy.
guy, there's a guy that's on it that's hung by a noose that swings around and drops papers
Yes.
off. I love that
Yeah.
guy too, and it's so well lit too. The whole thing that didn't stop in the next movie. The next movie is really well lit too.
Everything's perfect. Like Burton's whole aesthetic just works for these movies so brilliantly. Like when at the end of the movie, when the little priest guy, like a door comes, like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you know who that was, right?
No, who?
Uh, Bad Santa
Tony
Cox.
Cox?
Tony Cox. Yeah,
That's fucking Tony
Tony
Cox.
Cox plays the priest at the
That's
end.
insane.
But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But a little door forms in the wall that he walks through, and I was like the shape of that door. I'm like
Yeah, it's
that
like not
that
right.
door might be the most Tim Burton-y thing in a Tim Burton movie.
And there's the whole design of the mate or the new the Dietz's house when they design it all looks so
Well,
good.
yeah, and this was like a thing at the time, I think. Like architecture was like getting weird and we were starting to make fun of it in movies, this like modern architecture. If you watch like Wall Street and even I think Working Girl, there's some stuff about that.
Isn't doesn't
Uh
he do that in Pee Wee though? Isn't that all Pee Wee? Just all weird architecture, the houses and stuff.
yeah, but that's meant to like be a cartoon. Whereas like in Beetlejuice, I think they were like there were houses that were being built like this, and there was modern art that looked like the shit that Delia was doing.
Yeah, and Burton
Yeah,
just loves it. He loves that whole thing.
he
You
thinks
think
it's hilarious.
is Yorgos like Yorgos Lanthimos? Is he like more advanced Tim Burton? You think? I haven't thought about that at all.
What?
You don't think about that at all?
Well, I don't want to call him a more advanced
I
Tim
know, I meant
Burton.
just the newer, faster Tim Burton.
No, I mean, he's got his own sensibility.
Oh yeah, he does, but he reminds me of him a little bit, and he's just on a tear right now, the way Tim Burton started.
I guess so. Yeah. Um, but he's never gonna do a Batman.
No, that's true. He would have back in the day, but now everyone's doing it, so you don't want to.
Yeah, probably. You're
If
right.
you're that smart, you don't want to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
All right.
Leo doesn't want to do superhero stuff. He thinks he's better than that. Wasn't he gonna be He-Man though? Wasn't that a rumor?
What?
I didn't make that up. That's real.
He-Man's like built as fuck. Like Leo's got a belly.
He would have worked out like Kumail Nanjiani did and Chris Pratt.
Oh, worked out. You mean take human growth hormone? Yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Take human growth hormone.
Have you seen Batista lately? Since he stopped like
Yeah, you got
steroids.
skinny.
He's so skinny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying anything like that though. He just looks different.
Looks like he might have that Michael McDowell disease.
Oh, is that what happens?
Well, yeah, you get real broken down and skinny.
Let's not
You
say
never
that.
watch you never watch Philadelphia?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I thought you just like you lose all your hair.
You know, I listen to the song Streets of Philadelphia by Bruce Springsteen like fairly often.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with AIDS. It's just about Philadelphia. But I think about AIDS every time I listen to it.
Well,
Just
because
because it's in that movie.
yeah, that's fair. I'm sure a lot of people do that.
I guess so. It's weird though. Like I'll play it. It's like a, you know, I'll play it in the store when I'm working, and like people will like hum along to it, like it gets people going. And then, but I'm like, and then I look around. I'm like, I wonder if they're thinking about AIDS.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good question.
All right. Anyway,
You think
um,
about it like when you watch like if you put on like the Eagles game, or you're like, oh, Philadelphia Eagles.
no, I don't.
Okay.
But boy, oh boy, they really blew that game last night, huh?
I didn't pay attention to that.
I was watching it.
I know I won our fantasy league. Actually, I think I've won that one, lost one, so I don't know
I
which one I won.
I'm 0-2 in our league, but I
Oh,
but I beat Nathaniel in my other league. I felt real good about that.
okay, that's all that
Yeah,
matters.
I'm doing great in that other league. It's tops in my book, and my team name is Hawk Tua because I have Tua
That's great.
Tagovailoa. All
Yeah,
right.
I didn't make a cool name, but I beat David. Shout out to David, you loser.
Um. Yeah. Esp. Is that his name?
I
Esp.
don't know. I feel like sometimes there's an E, sometimes there's an A.
I know. What is up with that?
I don't know, and I don't know
Explain
if it's
yourself,
short for
David.
something. Please
I
explain
know.
yourself.
Like I think it might be David ESP, like extrasensory perception.
Yeah, I really don't know.
But
Let me
why is
know.
there sometimes an A?
Or like a Espinoza, but ESP is short for something like that.
Interesting. Yeah. All
I
right.
really don't know.
David, get back to us about this. Your
Yeah.
name is confusing.
In this movie, back to Beetle, is this a nightmare or not? Is this a Night of the Living Dead reference? She does mention Night of the Living Dead. Lydia, she's like, oh, like Night of the Living Dead, but Gina Davis's name is Barbara. You think that's a shout out to Night of the Living Dead? Maybe
Wow, I honestly never really thought about it.
me
It's
either until this
possible.
this viewing.
Yeah. Um, but the Deetzes are Delia and Charles. Is
That's
that
right.
yeah? And
That's your middle name.
I actually think they have nice chemistry too.
I agree with that.
Jeffrey Jones and Catherine O'Hara. They seem like in the Beetlejuice when they say that they're still together, like they never got divorced and Jeffrey Jones just like died eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Like that rang true to me. Like
Same.
they really would. Like they were a couple that like seemed to care for each other in a genuine way.
They both
And
seem
I don't
strong enough to put up with each other, also,
right,
and like
right.
if they were worth it for each other.
And they're the types of characters that could so easily be painted as just like dirtbag villains for the movie, like who were assholes to Lydia and whatever. But they're a lot more three-dimensional than that.
Yeah, yeah. Lydia doesn't. She doesn't really love Delia, but nobody loves their stepmom. She doesn't really have
Right, of
anything
course. But Delia
else.
cares for Lydia.
Right. And by the second movie, they've sort of gotten over their differences for the most part.
Absolutely, yeah. I
But
like their relationship in the new one.
yeah, but I agree with you. And I thought that Jeffrey Jones, I mean, we don't have to talk too much about it, but I thought he was really good in this movie. What do you think?
Yeah, look, there's no way around it. The Jeffrey Jones, he took pictures of naked boys, but
Because
I don't
I
think
thought he got a boy to send him a photo. He
I
took the
believe
photos
he took
himself.
the photos himself.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Supposedly never touched any of the kids, but I mean, it's bad enough.
I don't.
I
Why do we believe that happened? That he didn't touch anybody?
don't know. I think the kids said it.
Okay,
You
fair
just wanted to
enough.
like jerk off to the pictures
Why
later.
do we know that's the only kid?
Well, there were other kids, but like the only kid we know of that like he took the pictures of.
Right.
He had like tons of pictures of kids, but he
The,
took
the,
some pictures. He like asked it like you're gonna dress up like a Native American now, and I'm gonna take some pictures of
they
you.
weren't naked pictures, they were just pictures.
No, I think they were naked, but like he designed some outfits and some
Hmm.
poses and stuff.
Very, very weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Um.
what's going on with him these days? Is he in jail or something?
No. I it's interesting. Like Burton didn't want to use him for Beetlejuice, which is fucking understandable. But
Yes.
it's not like he's ever really gone away. Like he was in Deadwood, and that was like after those allegations came out. And even when I mean, I think he'd been convicted, like not even allegations. And after when the Deadwood movie came out, which wrapped up the series, that was like post Me Too and like in like the current
Yeah.
woke era, and they still used him in that.
Yeah. We use him too much here for my liking. I don't like how
Same,
we see his
honestly.
face a lot. Even the one time was too much.
I can't believe they even an animated rendition of him.
It was fun the way they did it, but I was
Oh,
like
I
totally
actually loved
unnecessary.
the sequence, but I come on, what?
She could just say, "Yo, yeah, your father died." That'd
Like
be
to
fine enough.
me, honestly, like I'd have been fine with as simple as, oh, they found a loophole. Like that was bullshit, but like whatever. We got rid of those characters that way. That
Mm,
just kill him. I
yeah,
don't need all that stuff. I certainly don't need him farting around the afterlife without a head.
it's true. And we see his face on the gravestone. We see him in the
Yeah,
newspaper.
that's right. We're like
Yep.
obsessed with show. You get photo bombs on photo bombs on photo bombs in this movie. Animation bombs, gravestone bombs. It's all over the place.
Yeah. LVP. But that's the next movie. That's the next movie.
Oh yeah, right. Back to the first movie.
Yeah.
Listen, can I talk about Winona Ryder for a second?
She's I believe 17 when they made this movie.
I am in no way going to talk about her attractiveness level.
Okay, what are you gonna talk
All
about?
right. All I want to talk about is how wonderful she is.
She is wonderful. I love when she
I'm
sings at the end, when she's up and
she
floating.
so much fun. But like the whole goth girl act she does where she like wears a veil at
At
dinner
dinner.
and shit. And I think maybe my favorite moment of the entire movie is her up in her room writing, and she writes, "I am so alone."
I am so utterly
Yeah,
alone.
yeah. And then she crumbles up the paper and tosses it out and fixes it. I'm so utterly alone. That is so great.
Yeah,
That
she's
that
pretty
I,
perfect.
does has anything in the history of motion pictures captured what it's like to be like a 15-year-old better than that?
Probably something, but it's really good. It's so
Yeah,
good. And she's
it's up.
perfect.
It's up there, man.
She nails it.
Yeah, I don't know that I love that she's got the same hairstyle in the second one.
It is weird. She really didn't grow that much at all.
Yeah,
It's like, but it's
get
sort of
it.
like the problem with her. I don't know.
I don't know. Get it together.
Get it together, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Do you
Anyway,
like Jenna Ortega, who is basically new Winona Ryder in the world? That's basically who she
but
is.
listen, I'm not a fan of Jenna Ortega. I've talked a lot of shit about Jenna Ortega on this podcast here.
That's right.
I
Her
hated her
friendship with Melissa Barrera, you don't
her
like?
friendship with Melissa Barrera, her hatred of the Jews. Although I will say, now everyone hates the Jews. She got it in early.
Yeah, she's a trendsetter in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
sense.
yeah. Um, but
She's good in X. We like her there. No, I
yeah,
like her as an actor. I think she's cool.
no, but I hated her in Scream, and then I hated her in something else we covered Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the first thing I've seen that really convinced me she could be something.
She's fun in You. She's a little child in You. She's like 15 or 16 when that came
Yeah,
out.
yeah, she's all right in like season 2 of You, but
That's right.
she's like a precocious little kid.
Right.
I
But here I agree she's good. Some of her dialogue sucked though. It was like really hard to swallow some of her dialogue.
I
But she did
don't
a good
know
job.
that I agree. I mean, we're talking. We're just going back and forth between these
It's
movies at
true.
this point,
It's so
and
true.
it's fine. But like the with the new one, I loved the Jenna Ortega character. Jenna Ortega might be my MVP of the new one.
Yeah, no, I liked her a lot too. I didn't like her stuff with at the funeral. Like there's like a scene where she sits down with Lydia after the funeral and she's just like talking about how depressed she is. She's like, nobody understands me. I'll
Oh
play the
well,
line. I'll find the line. I'll play
in
it. But
that scene, I feel like she's supposed to be bratty. But then the more you learn about her and why she has that relationship with Lydia, the more convinced I got. And
right.
I think Jenna Ortega is really good. And one thing I like about it is that I'm so used to teenagers in movies now being so sexualized and adult and like having such adult precocious conversations, and and I loved that she felt like a teenager to me. Like it felt like Freaks and Geeks or something. Like
Yeah.
she was just like a kid still, like she was going on a date, and it felt like a kid going on a date. It didn't feel like I was watching fucking Gossip Girl or something where like they just might as well be adults.
It's
uh
true. And I thought the boy was pretty good too.
I did too. And they
He's
had
a
a
Nepo
sweet little.
baby. So
Is he? Who is he?
his grandpa was Einstein in the Oppenheimer. In Oppenheimer?
Oh, I thought you were gonna tell me his grandfather was fucking Albert Einstein.
No, no. but his grandpa's an
Who
actor. I
played
forgot his name.
Einstein in Oppenheimer?
Something Conti.
Oh, Tom Conti
Yeah, so
or
he's that
Bill.
guy's
Wait,
grandson. I don't know, some Tom Conti. Yeah, and he's Arthur Conti. This kid.
got it. Okay, yeah, yeah. Sorry, Bill Conti's the guy who did like the music and Rocky, I think.
Yeah, I know. I heard that guy before.
Yeah. Um. All right. Yeah. Nepo baby. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
They're everywhere.
He was pretty good though.
Yeah, he was fine. I don't have
I thought it was a fun
huge beef with
twist.
him.
I hated that character. I was like, are we really doing this in the middle of Beetlejuice? We just have a romance, and then it all. I didn't expect it to play out the way it played out.
Well, me neither, and that really worked for me. But
Mhm.
also, I sort of liked the romance. Like
Yeah,
it was kind of sweet. Like what I talk about that really feeling like teenager was like it felt like early love, like when you're like first connecting with somebody who like seems to get you. Like it really captured that, which
yeah.
is nice to see. You just don't, it's not something you see in movies that much anymore, which is a shame, because like you go back to like the 80s, like every movie is like brilliantly capturing what it's like to be a teenager,
It's
you
true.
know.
Well, the young
And,
actors now are we have Millie Bobby Brown. She can't do that, so we
well, I
don't
feel
make
like
movies like that
teenager
anymore.
movie like teenage actors now, a lot of them are terrible, and
Hmm.
b a lot of them want to be in like adult movies
Yeah.
and do adult things, and like especially like, and they become sexualized at such a young age. We're doing like countdowns to when they're 18 so we could start openly talking about that we're jerking off to them. And it's fucking creepy and weird, and this was so refreshing. It was just watching kids be kids.
It was, but he was a trickster. He was lying to her.
I know, well, it's a good twist. It got me.
Me too. It's crazy to kill your mom. What I don't know what he killed her with, but I don't think that's the way you kill your parents with like
No, it was just supposed to be like a good visual
I
for
think
when we.
when you're gonna kill your parents, it's like I have one shot at this. I'm gonna make this count. You don't just like kill them with a blender or whatever it
No,
was.
I feel like you'd probably like slit their throats in their sleep or something.
Yeah, you like really have to like this has to count. You know,
You've got to be a person who's thought about killing your parents. What would you do?
never thought about killing my parents.
I'm surprised.
No.
All right. What else about the first movie?
They do that part. That's
Yeah,
fun.
that sequence is good.
All the
There,
acting is really great.
who's great in it? Well,
Everybody.
really everybody, but Catherine O'Hara is like incredible. Like she has this thing where it really feels like her movements aren't her own
I think
movements.
they all do though. It's hard to pick
I
who's the best
No,
one.
no, because I think the dude who plays Otho is really good too. That part where he starts drumming.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
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 that's so.
that's
But Jeffrey
awesome.
Jones is good. The other people that are there are
But
really good
I
too.
I think Catherine O'Hara is really special.
She's probably
Like
the
she,
MVP there.
yeah, yeah. And by the way, the other people in that scene are crazy. Like one of them's Dick Cavett.
Yeah, I don't really know who those people are, but I
He was
saw.
like a talk show host in the 70s. Like he's a fascinating dude.
Okay, he looked familiar. So
Yeah. He used to do a thing where he'd have the same guest on all week. He'd interview them like 5 nights in a
really,
row. Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
fun
And
concept.
he'd get like big guests. Like he did it with John Lennon once.
Usually, you don't even
And
get the same guest for the one show. It's like two guests per show, right? Or like three or
yeah,
four
yeah.
guests per show.
Right. And
One
that
guest for
we'll
five
see
whole
him in two
shows.
years when they have something else to promote. But yeah, he would keep him on there. Really, he was a good interviewer. He really wanted to know
That's really
about.
cool.
Um, yeah. Conan did a similar thing. He would have musical guests on for a week at a time.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I remember the White Stripes did it once.
But you can't go on unless you have a week's worth of music to
Well,
play. That
yeah,
kind of
yeah, you
sucks.
got to be good.
You can't like be a new act and be like, oh, I got booked on Conan. Now it's gonna be like my big break.
No,
You got to already be
he would
huge.
have people on for one night, but occasionally with like a bigger band, like U2, I think he did with, he would have them on like 5 nights.
That's pretty fun. We don't
Yeah.
really do it like we used to anymore.
Well, talk shows a dying breed. Even the ones that still exist, like the ratings are like I was reading an article recently where it said like Jimmy Fallon's
Well, he
ratings are.
sucks.
Well,
That's why.
I agree, but they're down like 50% or something just in the last like 4 years. And
He
like
used to be
nobody's,
huge,
yeah,
big deal.
nobody's watching late night anymore.
Yeah. Corden left and we all gave up on late night,
Well, I
I
think
think.
Gordon kind of left at the right time. I
You're
mean, it'd
probably
be
right.
happening to him too.
Yeah. Who even does it?
It's
Kimmel,
really just Kimmel, Colbert,
Seth
and
Meyers. I like him.
yeah, Seth Meyers. But a lot of them are dropping down. Like it used to be 5 nights a week, and even Fallon now is only doing 4 nights.
There's nobody black that does it. That's pretty fucked up.
There used to be Trevor Noah, but
True.
now Stewart's back.
That's
And
pretty messed up, actually.
you know what's even more messed up?
Hmm.
I just stopped watching The Daily Show. All those years Trevor Noah was on, and then the second Jon Stewart came back, I started watching again.
They should give it the guy who does it Saturday Night Live with Scarlett
Mike
Johansson's husband.
Michael Che.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's good.
That guy's really funny.
He's a big New York Rangers fan. I always see him in the
Whoa,
game in the crowd at games.
that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So if we bring them back, they all like disintegrate. It's really sad.
It is
We
fucking
didn't
sad.
we haven't talked about Beetlejuice too much. I mean, he's really not in
Yeah.
the movie so much.
Well, he's not Keaton. He's well deployed.
He is. I love the
He,
commercial that he does where he's like, "Oh, I fell down."
yeah, yeah.
He's so
He's
funny.
really good. And he's got a real spontaneity to him in this one,
Yeah.
where like nothing feels written. It just feels like they let Keaton go off. I mean, literally the part where he goes, "You chew on a dog." That always come takes me by surprise. Every time I watch the movie and he says that line, I'm like, that's weird.
Everything he does takes me by surprise. I feel like I've heard my whole life people say like sort of give the nod like this is one of the greatest comedic performances, and I think that they're right. It's really like from all angles, the voice, everything he's doing physically, what he says itself is
It's
really funny.
really unique. It feels like he's satirizing something, but you're not really sure what. And I think that's because he's just creating something completely new.
Yeah, and he taps right back into it. I felt.
I
Uh,
didn't.
yeah. So you don't think he looked like him or felt like him?
I thought he sounded like him. The voice sounded the same to me, but the energy was different.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think part of that might be, I'm sorry to say, little wokeness.
Interesting.
He's really perverted in the
Mm-hmm.
original Beetlejuice. He's constantly like groping at
Tickling
Gina
Gina.
Davis. Yeah, he wants to marry Lydia underage, and he says like sexual shit all the time. He builds a little strip club in the
I love
town.
that part. I
Yeah,
love that.
it's there. That's a real element to that character, and I really don't think they tapped into that in this one, and that might be what I was missing.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is weird in the first movie. He's trying to marry her so he can become like get out of the little hell he's been put in and have to live in that little place or whatever.
Right.
But in the second movie, it's like he's in love with Lydia. Like he wants to just marry her. Like he
Well,
right?
and they're doing a thing like we get that Monica Bellucci backstory, so it's like that will like annul his wedding to
Oh,
Monica
so there is purpose
Bellucci.
to it.
Yeah, but it's like too much purpose. I sort of like that in the original. There isn't that much purpose to it. He just wants to marry this like young girl.
Well, I think it's so to help him escape the place.
Yeah.
Like that because that Juno put him into. But
You know what I read that's interesting?
what's up?
The original ending of the original Beetlejuice, like when they first wrote the script, was that the Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis end up in the model, and then they build the house. They renovate it so that it looks like the house did when they first moved in, and then they just live there, but within the Dietz's version of their house.
Okay, fine. I like this one more.
No, I do too. I prefer this one,
But that's kind of
but
fine.
like that's sort of sweet. It might work better on the page than it would on
Yeah.
screen.
But I love when she gets home And they're like, "What? You failed? We studied so hard on that test." And she's like,
Yeah.
"No, I lied. I did
It's
great.
so nice.
I love it so
It's
much.
so nice. Yeah, it's great. No
It
one
is
gets
great."
an A on science. Let's
Yeah.
still do the fun thing.
And then Beetlejuice goes in the waiting room, tries to swap the numbers. That's hilarious. He's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I'm next."
which I read wasn't in it. Like that was a reshoot where like the test screenings, everyone loved the Beetlejuice character so much. It was like more Beetlejuice
Mhm.
that Burton went in and added that.
Well, it's a hilarious ending. I
Yeah,
freaking
it's
love it.
great. It's
Uh,
great.
how did he think that was gonna like? That guy was next, literally number 4, and he's like, "Oh, well, I'm next. Now you're in 20 million or whatever
The
it is."
funniest part of that scene is that he snatches the four out of that guy's hand, and then he like just throws the other one on like it just right over. It's
It's
so
so
good.
funny.
Well,
Yeah.
guess I'm next.
It's hilarious. So,
Uh,
uh, 5 stars. Gotta
yeah,
go 5 stars.
yeah.
MVP. We didn't talk about him maybe too much, but Michael Keaton, I think, has to be the MVP here, right? Or is it Catherine O'Hara?
What if I
Or is it Tim
said?
Burton?
What if I said Winona Ryder?
You could go Winona Ryder, actually.
I think I'm going to. I think I like that about Beetlejuice is like the way it treats teenagerdom and childhood, and I like that about both movies. So I think I might go Winona Ryder MVP for this one
Wow.
and Jenna Ortega MVP the next one.
I didn't expect that, but I think that's very cool.
Yeah, but
Um,
but like, which isn't to diminish anything else.
no.
A fucking Otho is an incredible character. We haven't talked enough about him. His entrance when he comes through that window is so funny. And
Yes. And the whole bit where they're walking through the house and they're trying to hang themselves to try to scare them, but they're like, "Oh, it's so ugly." Like
yeah,
all
yeah.
that little bit. This
Mm-hmm.
movie just is never boring ever. It's just always creative and funny and awesome.
And smart and interesting and unpredictable. It's really a special movie.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
LVP. I wrote down Susan Kellerman.
Who
She's
is that?
she's just like there at the dinner party, like the worst woman that's at the
Is
dinner
that
party.
like Dick Cavett wife?
I think so. Her name's Grace in the movie. She's
Yeah,
listed right after Dick Cavett.
that's not a bad choice.
She was the least memorable person here.
It's true. Even I'm looking at it now. Jane is funny.
I love
Uh,
the football players.
yeah.
Those guys are
Oh
funny.
yeah, and Robert Goulet is in there. I think you got the right choice.
I tried to think about it. She stood out
Yeah,
to me.
she brings the least. Poor
Sorry to her.
Susan
Kellerman.
Kellerman.
Yeah, she's been around. She was in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Death Becomes Her. So,
Yeah, but she plays waitress in Plane, Trains, and Automobiles
mm,
and second doctor in Death Becomes
okay,
Her.
fair
All
enough.
right, so she
I
hasn't
was
had the
trying to give her
greatest
credit, and
career
you
ever.
discredit her.
I discredit you, Kellerman.
So Ryder Strong, he gives this movie 2.5 stars.
Get the fuck out of
Ryder Strong
here.
has the worst opinions on movies.
Ryder Strong has the worst taste of any human being.
We should listen to his podcast. What does he do on there? Does he talk about Boy Meets World?
I think they just talk about Boy Meets World. Yeah.
Like episode by episode?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Buffy, like we do? Let's do it. Buffy's Angels. In my first installments list, maybe it's too low here, but out of 313, I put it 23 between the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Incredibles. Okay.
Well, it's definitely better than The Incredibles.
Yeah. I had a Texas Ocean's 11. Would that count? The Soderbergh, is that a first installment? Should I even include that?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's sort of weird because like there's that original with with original Beetlejuice, Sammy Davis Jr.
That's true.
but
But
but yeah,
Spider-Man, Carrie, Manhunter, Alien, Toy Story. Those are better. No, maybe not.
I don't know about Spider-Man.
I knew you'd say that. But that's where I have it. So deal with it. All right.
I've dealt with it. The juice is loose.
Yeah.
That was maybe my one of my favorite parts of the movie
It was in
when
the
he said
trailer.
I didn't watch the trailer.
Oh, that was like all
So,
over the place.
but I loved it because it's the part of the movie where listen, here's the difference between this movie and Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus when he says, "Get away from her," there's a long pause, and you're like, "Oh God, he's gonna say bitch, you bitch," and then he does. Okay, Beetlejuice, he gets summoned. All right, and you think the sequel thing to do, the legacy sequel thing to do, would be if he then said, "It's showtime."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, oh, we're doing the thing, all right. But no, he says the juice is loose.
Something completely new.
That's insane.
Yeah. He's dead now too. Did he die this year?
Yeah.
OJ.
OJ. All right. Rest in pieces, buddy. Um, whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking
And he looked
I
exactly the same as last movie. Wasn't that crazy?
no, he didn't. Stop it. Stop. He didn't look the same. He didn't act the same. He sounded kind of the same. But which isn't, I'm not like giving Michael Keaton shit. He's funny in this and good and worthwhile to bring back. But like it did feel to me like it wasn't quite the same character.
I thought it was fine enough. I didn't really think about it too much.
It was okay. I honestly, in this movie, I vastly preferred the like real world happenings to the afterlife stuff. Like I I
That's
I,
fair.
I didn't find the stuff in in like the, what do you even call it? The afterlife.
Yeah.
I didn't find that stuff that compelling. A lot of it involves fucking Jeffrey Jones's character.
I hated the
And
Soul Train. That whole thing
the
was like
Soul
we spent
Train
so
did
much
not
time with
make
that.
me laugh, and then we brought that back as like the stinger at the end, and I didn't find that funny.
Made me
And
think about Taylor Hicks. I wonder if he's on the Soul Train.
Soul Patrol,
Soul Patrol.
yeah,
That was his
yeah,
fan base. The
that's
Soul
right.
Patrol.
Yeah.
Were you a member of the Soul
No,
Patrol?
I wasn't, but I wasn't really watching that season. I took
Oh,
like a
that's a great
couple.
season.
I know I took a couple seasons of Idol, American Idol, excuse me, off, and then I remember I came back for the David Cook season.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were a Cook fan, right? Not Archuleta?
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay, good.
I mean,
Um,
big time, not Archuleta. I mean, Cook by
I thought
default.
you sort of look a little like David Cook. Have you ever heard that before?
No, I haven't. But you know
You
what?
never heard that?
I don't hate it. You
I
know.
feel like you do a little. But
You
the
want to hear a little David Cook? Oh baby, put the light on when I'm gone.
I knew you were gonna do that one. The
The only one anybody knows.
That's not true. It's not true. Time of My Life. That was his winning song.
Stop it. No one remembers those
Time of
winning
My
songs
Life.
except for a moment like this.
But he had a lot of good songs in the season. Like he sang Billie Jean. He sang
Yeah, I
Hello by
remember.
Lionel
But
Richie.
what annoyed me, he got so much credit for that Billie Jean cover, but he just all he was doing was covering the Chris Cornell cover of Billie Jean.
Well, he does a great job.
Whatever.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was
But
really good.
people were like, "Oh, what a brilliant idea to make it slow like that." I'm like,
She was more like a beauty
he's,
queen.
she's
from another
doing it
sea."
because fucking Chris Cornell did it.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I didn't know that. But back to Taylor Hicks anyway, because that's what this podcast is about. That
Yeah,
season was Catherine McPhee and Chris Daughtry. They probably should have
yeah,
won one of those two. But Taylor snuck in there.
he
And
did,
Elliot
man.
Yamin.
Oh
Yamin.
yeah, I remember that, dude. I remember all these people being things, but
Those were the
I
top
wasn't
four.
paying it. I wasn't watching
So
that season. McPhee showed up on, well, I watched Smash, and she
yeah,
showed up
she's
on
an actress.
Community once. Yeah. Anyway,
Very beautiful.
I agree. All right, back
She
to
sang that cherry tree song we talked about a few weeks ago.
KT Tunstall, who I once asked out in an interview.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was a great cover. She's good at that.
All right. What are we doing? Where are we in this?
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I know, but what are we
It
talking
just
about?
came out.
Oh, I was talking about I like the real world stuff. Like the to me, the relationship between Lydia and Delia was great. I thought Catherine O'Hara of all of them really was able to nail that character. Like she got right back to it.
Speaking of OJ, fit just like a glove.
that
Catherine O'Hara, right back in the role. I thought she was so good.
was your best joke of the episode.
Really?
Uh,
No, I had like 5 great ones earlier.
all right. I'm not saying they
The
weren't.
Dead. Whenever I said the Dead about that was a good one.
that was a good one.
That was like a smart.
Remember that?
You had to be a real film fan.
Let's
to know that one.
let's do an episode this week about all our favorite moments from this episode.
Let's do that. We should do that every week. Oh man, that would
All right,
rock.
but yeah, and even like Lydia's relationship with like the Justin Thoreau character, I found fun, and
Yeah,
he was maybe a little broad for me, but
he was funny
not
though.
not in the bad way. Like, yeah, I found him pretty funny.
Mhm. Makes me
Uh,
wish he was in more stuff.
yeah, well, I don't. I love him as a dramatic actor. I wish he would do more of that, like because he was so good in The Leftovers. But
He doesn't have to be funny. I just want him in more stuff.
yeah, I agree. That I thought his opening scene was really funny. Like, or maybe not his opening scene, but the right after that when he throws her pills in the trash.
Hmm.
And then she's like, "Come on, let me just take a pill." And he goes, "This is the last time I will fish a pill out of a garbage for you." And then he gives her one to take, and then he takes one himself.
Yeah, that's good.
The moment he pops one himself, I was like, "That's funny."
Yeah, that seems crazy to dump somebody that's addicted to pills out like that, just straight up like that, especially your
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Well, but that's establishing him as this like really controlling guy,
I know.
which it makes you not like him right away. Like for me, like that was it more than anything that made me dislike him. That he's like I'm somebody that's on pills, like that needs pills to function.
Yeah, if somebody
And
did that,
so
that'd be insane.
yeah, if someone spilled my fucking pills out, I'd be fucking furious.
Yeah,
I would
especially your
dump her.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be over.
yeah, but he got him out,
Yeah,
and then they got married, or almost
almost.
on
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah, she loves almost getting married in these movies.
She does. Did you catch that
I
it's the same dress, the red
Yeah,
dress? I
of
love
course
that.
I did because I think that red dress in the original is so iconic. Like
Yeah,
she looks so great in that.
yeah,
And yeah, I was happy they brought it back.
me
As
too.
soon as they brought up the idea of her getting married, I was like, she better fucking be wearing that red dress.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. If it's not as iconic to me, probably.
No, I think it's great. Like I pictured Lydia wearing that dress. It might be I might find it so iconic because she wears something similar on the animated series.
This isn't. This is probably like the third time I've ever seen Beetlejuice. I saw it like
Oh,
as a kid, and then I saw it when I was like 18, and then I saw it now.
well, I watched it a lot. And if you go back and look at the animated show, like you know how on cartoons like characters wear the same thing every episode.
Right. SpongeBob's got the same pair of pants.
Right. So Lydia on the animated show has like a red dress that she's wearing. Like
That seems uncomfortable. That's your outfit?
here, do you see it, what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
put that on every day?
I think it's supposed to be like a cape or something. Like it's not exactly the wedding dress, but I think because of that, it's made the wedding dress even more iconic to me because like red is Lydia's color for me.
Right. Red's a
Yeah,
great color.
it is.
Purple is probably my favorite
It's
color.
also a great album.
That's true. It was a great album. One of her best. Talk about Taylor.
That's right. Not Hicks, the
No, no.
Swift.
Right.
Um, so
But
well,
Lydia, she has a show where she like hunts ghosts. But it's
yeah,
like
and
I
it's
didn't understand this show because it's like you ever see Ghost Adventures? It seemed like
it,
that, but it's also like a talk show, like combined. It was really weird.
it honestly felt a little bit retrograde to me.
Maybe.
Like maybe I saw that this film was originally developed in 2011,
Hmm.
and I was like, I wonder if that's from the original draft.
Yeah, maybe. If yeah, you're right about that. I
By the
this
way, I meant I didn't do the stats for this one or whatever.
hmm
And I was gonna talk about two previous attempts at a Beetlejuice sequel, one of which
Okay.
I knew about and one of which I did not.
I know about one of them too.
Which one do you know about?
Where he goes to the beach.
Yeah, that's the one I know about too. But
Okay,
there was
what else
another one.
happened?
All right, so um apparently like right after Beetlejuice came out in 1990, Warren Scarron, before he died, wrote a Beetlejuice sequel and it was called Beetlejuice in Love.
Oh,
And it was gonna be about he like meets a dude in the afterlife who like died on his honeymoon, and then Beetlejuice tries to get himself like brought back to Earth because he falls in love with her. Like it's sort of like when like you like hear about a cellmate's wife in prison,
Did
and
you fall
like
in love with
you
her?
get like attached to them.
Oh, I've never heard of that. That's
Yeah,
fascinating,
that's a
though.
thing that happens. And
I bet. Yeah.
it was like that. And so that could have been interesting. But then they started doing one called Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian.
Yeah, that sounded fun.
Yeah, and it was gonna be like a beach movie, but with Beetlejuice. It could have been interesting. Um,
Like that dead movie you like about the dead guy, but Beetlejuice instead of the dead guy.
what movie are you talking
The
about?
summer movie with the dead guy at the beach.
Oh, Weekend at Bernie's?
Yeah, it's like Weekend at Bernie's, but with Beetlejuice instead.
I don't know. I think it was going more for like Frank uh, Back to the Beach or those movies. Like in that thing you do when they're the shrimp shack
Mm.
shooters.
Yeah, it's
I
very
think it
fun.
was going for that kind of thing, that vibe.
Okay, that's fun.
Um. Anyway. Um.
I feel like the Mask tried to not copy Beetlejuice, but I feel like the Mask tried to replicate a little bit of Beetlejuice. What do you think about
The
that?
the tone a little bit, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The melding of cartoon and live action.
yeah.
But so that Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, that was in development for years. Like I heard about that in the '90s, and then I read, or I didn't read, but Kevin Smith has talked about a lot that when he was working with Warner Brothers on that Superman script in the
Mm.
'90s, that was something they offered him to write.
Why didn't he?
I believe his response was, "Didn't we say everything we needed to say with the first Beetlejuice? Must we go tropical?"
And then he made Clerks 2 and Clerks 3.
Yep. But you
Wow.
see, in the '90s, he had some artistic merit.
It's fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, Clerks 3, remember that one?
I don't want to remember that one.
That was so
Clerks
bad.
3 might be one of the 10 worst movies I've ever seen.
It's definitely one of the 10 worst we've ever covered. So that was bad.
Yeah.
You covered bad movies, actually.
Well, yeah. Listen, I mean, the worst movies we ever covered, I think probably like four of them are Children of the Corn movies.
Fletch Lives sucks.
That Fletch Lives is so much better than Clerks 3.
I hate Fletch Lives.
It's bad, but
I think that's my
what?
least favorite second installment. That's why I said that. That's the
Oh,
first thing that popped in my
there's
head.
no way that's my least favorite second installment. We've covered so much worse.
But we ranked them once. You don't remember what it was?
No.
Mm. All right. Um, anyway, so what happens here? Yes. Justin Theroux's name's Rory. That's cool. Astrid is Jenna Ortega. We love her. She had a cute haircut, I thought here. She's younger than I thought she was. I thought Jenna Ortega was like 23, maybe 24 now. She's still 21 years old. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, she's still convincingly playing a teenager in this.
Yeah, true. But she's like one of the top people in Hollywood, it seems to me, and she is 21 years old.
Well, but that's why she was getting listen, and I hated her for this too. That she took so much shit because after the first season of Wednesday, she was saying like she did some like rewriting on it, and like she was like, I didn't agree with a lot of the things in the scripts, and I was like giving notes and stuff, and it's like, you're 12 years old, what are you doing?
No,
But
she was 19 or 20.
I know, but I think
I
that's why,
respect it.
like, she took more shit for that than somebody would have that, you know, was older.
In the lead up to this, though, Winona Ryder has been like, it's been so cool working with Jenna Ortega because she's such a fan of movies, and it's been like a shot at Millie Bobby Brown because Millie Bobby Brown has talked about how she doesn't watch any movies and she doesn't know anything about acting or movies at all.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really refreshing, Jenna Ortega. And anytime she does like her letterbox top four, it's like I'm just gonna say this because it's a movie you just watched, but she'll be like Summer with Monica. She'll just say like some weird stuff that
Right,
nobody's
right.
ever
I
talking
I
about.
I do think that on the press tour for Beetlejuice, like Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega have had like really sweet chemistry, and it's really apparent how much they like and respect each other, and it's made me like Jenna Ortega a little bit more.
Yeah, she gets like the seal of approval from Winona. She does seem like a little Winona reincarnated. I
Let's
don't
not
I,
go crazy.
no, I, I like it.
It makes sense. Like when you heard she was cast as Winona Ryder's daughter in Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, like I don't think anyone had any cognitive dissonance with that. Like it that
No.
made sense.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, she's great here. And she meets Jeremy. We talked about Jeremy. He's pretty cool. He's in a
He's,
tree house.
oh, right, that kid. Yeah.
He's what was the lie he said? He said he just fell out of the treehouse, but really he murdered his
Yeah,
parents and he
that's
fell
right.
when the cops were there or something.
Right.
But I don't know. But I have a question because the whole thing he tells Jenna Ortega, "You have to come to the afterlife with me," but then it's like a trick where he was going to trap her there. Why can't he do the thing Beetlejuice did in the last movie where he tells her, "Let's get married," like Beetlejuice did with Lydia? Why is that not an option? Why is he trying to like trap her and swap souls with her or
He
something?
doesn't want to be married to her. He's a real asshole.
I guess so, but it's your ticket out. You'd rather trap her? That's an asshole move too.
Yeah, it's true. You got Jenna Ortega like wanting to fuck you, dude. Like
And you
that's
just
your
met.
golden ticket right there.
Yeah, I really didn't understand what that was all about. But
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about some things that don't need to be in the movie. As much as I love him, Willem Dafoe plays Wolf Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. Like I was never convinced by that character. I never found him particularly funny. I and it was kind of like I was waiting the whole movie for like the Willem Dafoe character and the Monica Bellucci character to convince me that they needed to be in the narrative. And then like the time to do that is when they're at that church at the end of the movie, and it just never happened. Like the movie ended and I was still going like, why were they in this?
Yeah, same. And I feel like a lot of people probably it's hard. I don't think a lot of people feel that way. I think that's just a fact of the movie. It's not like
Yeah.
I think it's just a real thing. I don't understand why they're here. I understand why she's here. I don't understand why he's here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like the idea of Willem Dafoe in a Beetlejuice movie does make sense to me. Like
Yes.
he works tonally for this franchise. Now that it's a franchise, I just wasn't. He just was felt extraneous in this narrative.
Right. It was a little cool because he, of course, was a Spider-Man villain, the Green Goblin, and then Michael Keaton was a Spider-Man villain, the Vulture.
Yeah,
So that was a little bit
that
cool.
was cool to you.
A little bit cool for like 2 seconds, but then no,
If
not.
you could have one more Spider-Man villain in Beetlejuice, who would you choose?
I think I'd have to pick Jamie Foxx if I had to. But there are some good ones, honestly. Thomas Hayden Church would be really
Jamie
funny.
Foxx.
Here's the first one I thought
That
of.
is such a weird choice.
Um,
I
where's he been, Jamie Foxx?
I don't know. Anytime I don't see him for a while, I assume he's singing. He has a music career. I know he was dating Katie Holmes for a few years there.
Wow, I didn't know about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But
Yeah, I feel like I haven't heard about him in a little bit.
movie wise, what's the last thing Jamie Foxx did?
Like last time I remember was like White House Down era. That was like 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Oh, he's doing stuff. No, we're just not watching the
Or
stuff he's
Django,
in.
Django Unchained.
He's been in like Netflix movies and like, Project Power, and they cloned Tyrone, and he
Okay.
was a voice in Strays with the dogs.
Oh yeah, you saw
Like
that.
he's doing stuff. He was in a movie last year called The Burial that premiered on Amazon Prime. He's making that streaming money, and it means that we are not paying attention to what he's doing, but he's doing
No.
stuff.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Does he have franchises? What's like the Jamie Foxx franchise?
Hmm. What is the Jamie Foxx? Has he been in a franchise?
I feel like no. I feel like his big movies are like Collateral and Ray and like that type of stuff.
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean, Spider-Man. He was in Spider-Man.
Yeah, maybe that's his franchise. Um, excuse me.
What?
Horrible Bosses.
Really? Horrible
Yeah,
bosses.
that's his franchise.
All right. You ever see those?
I saw the first one, and then when I was in rehab, a guy I was in rehab with named Hugh lent me his copy of the second one. I don't think I ever gave it back to him,
Holy
and
shit.
and I also never watched it.
That's terrible of you.
I know,
How could you do that to Hugh?
I know. He's a good guy. He bought me a Jaws T-shirt. Um,
That's cool. Um, So yeah.
Anyway,
So Delia, she I like the part where she takes the snakes and then gets bit by the snakes. That was pretty funny.
I don't know about that.
You don't know, and then because she dies, and then
Ah,
she can spend forever with her
felt
husband.
unceremonious to me to kill Delia that way. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't love it, to be honest.
But she's
I thought
happy.
I thought Delia in general was really well used in the movie. Like I love that she's doing like installment artwork now. Like that the scene where like she was arguing with that dude like on the set of her latest thing because she like couldn't go on because her husband's dead now. Like
Yeah, I
that
loved
that
every bit of her.
that all was really funny. But I I didn't like the wrap up.
Yeah, I didn't either. I did like the opening scene of Monica Bellucci when she's like reassembling herself set to that song, whatever song that was.
Oh, the opening was with Monica Bellucci was cool. Like I was primed for the character after that, and then they just
Totally.
didn't really do anything with her. But the whole thing with Danny DeVito showing up, like I love Danny DeVito in a Tim Burton movie. He's so perfect, and I mean he's perfect in almost
How many has he
everything.
been in? Three?
He's in Batman Returns and Big Fish and Dumbo. He
I
pops
didn't know
up here
Big
and
Fish.
there. Yeah. But he was really funny in this. And I and that's like the first big effect in the movie is when she like sucks the life out of him and then he it just slumps to the floor and it's a really good practical effect.
Yeah, it
And
was
it
like
and
a
it
maybe a Buffy or Angel one that we saw
yeah, it
recently.
looks shitty, but in a really satisfying old school kind of way. And
There's
so
one recently where they dropped like a skin suit. Looked like a suit of skin in one. I
I
think it was
don't
an
think it
Angel
was.
episode. No, you don't think? Maybe
Oh,
like the Rance Howard episode.
I think it was the Rance Howard episode. The Carpe knocked him. Yeah.
Okay,
But
yeah,
it's also a little bit like Go Fish, the swim team episode. They
yeah,
do that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of that, and it's a little weird because they keep calling her a soul sucker, and Michael Keaton's like, yeah, yeah, she is a soul sucker, but it's weird because it's just like Tim Burton is like, look at my girlfriend, the soul sucker. Look, that's so weird to me.
He's been doing it for years.
I
Like
know, I know,
Helena Bonham Carter, like look at my hot wife. Here she is.
I know.
And now he's doing it again. That's he loves showing off his ladies.
He really does.
I mean, but
Can't fault him for
to
it.
be honest, I don't fault him for it. It is impressive. Tim Burton's ugly. Tim
Oh,
Burton's like a super weird looking dude.
he looks like Tim
Who,
Burton.
like if Tim Burton, no, it's true. He looks like a Tim Burton character. He looks like fucking Edward Scissorhands, but not handsome. But like if fucking Tim Burton, like if he was not a famous director, he would not be scoring attractive women. He is awkward and weird and uncomfortable looking. And like if like you were working in a store and he came in and hit on you, you'd be fucking grossed out by it.
But he's
But
Tim Burton,
he's Tim Burton.
and so it works.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he props his ladies up. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he does it in every movie. It's like it's enough's
It's
enough.
relentless. It's relentless. I didn't know he was dating Bellucci until you told me, and I'm like, oh god, of course.
Yeah, she would probably be the LVP as a character, except it's so hard to get over Jeffrey Jones in this movie because you're just like hit with it constantly. As soon as you get
Bellucci's
over it, you hit it.
Bellucci's my LVP because Jeffrey Jones isn't actually in this movie. But other than the animated sequence, nothing with him worked for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Even the part that where Delia had a line where she was like, "I miss my horny man or my horny husband," something
I
like.
know.
Talk about how
Can we stop
that
talking
was
about this
crazy.
dude?
That was too much. We don't need to talk about how horny the freaking child molester is, or he didn't
Yeah,
molest
it's
anybody.
not like
Sorry.
he was like memorably horny in the first movie.
No, not at all. I don't think their parents
No.
horny at all in that movie.
No, there's one scene where Lydia thinks she's listening to her parents have sex, but it's really just
The
Gina
ghost.
Davis and Alec Baldwin moaning.
Yeah, that's when she's like, "Are you ugly?" Like Night of the Living Dead. That's when she drops that line.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, we didn't talk about the baby Beetlejuice. That was pretty fun.
That was kind of fun. I don't know that I loved him popping up again at the end of the movie,
I agree, maybe.
but the bit when we first saw him, I thought was great. Actually,
Yeah,
that whole scene where like Beetlejuice is being a therapist, I thought that whole sequence was funny. With you
we
know,
might get too much of him early on. He's in it sort of a lot early. which is not a lot,
Yeah.
but not true of the
Well,
first movie.
you'll notice that like in the original Beetlejuice, it's and Michael Keaton.
Right, I did notice that.
And in this one it's starring Michael Keaton.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's the and? We know. And Jeffrey Jones, imagine. Might as well be.
It's true. No, I don't
Probably
I
Anne Belucci, probably. True, honestly.
no, I know she was like fifth build. There were
And
someone was
Defoe, it must be.
it was that's exactly what it was. It was Anne
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shout
Yeah.
out to him.
I think it was Keaton first build, then Ryder, then Ortega,
And O'Hara, probably.
then O'Hara, then Belushi. Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
Mm.
And where's Thoreau? Thoreau? We don't care about Thoreau.
Then maybe Thoreau was sixth.
Okay. And the guy from The Watcher, did you catch that?
What's the Watcher?
The Micah Monroe movie that came out I think last year that I watched a few weeks ago, where
Oh
she's like
yeah,
in
that's just
Italy.
Watcher.
Oh, I'm sorry. But this is the Watcher from the Watcher. He's the Watcher. That's why I said
Who
that.
who was he in the movie?
He's like a guy, and you know his name. His name's Gore or something.
Verbinski?
No,
Why do you sound so annoyed with me?
because that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Fuck you.
Oh no, his name is Bern Gorman. Sorry.
Oh. Oh yeah, he's just like a creepy looking dude. I
He's a
know.
creepy looking dude, but he's the
Yeah.
Watcher now. That's what I know him from. But he
But
popped up
see,
here.
you confuse me because there are two things that I know of called the Watcher, and
Well, there's
that's
the
not one of them.
Watchers.
That's just no. But there's the Watchers. There's Watcher. Okay, but then there's two other things called the Watcher. One
Okay.
was a serial killer movie with Keanu Reeves and James Spader.
Okay. Who's the
And
serial killer? Either one would be a
it
good
was
serial
it
killer.
was Keanu. That's a crazy movie because James Spader is the cop and Keanu Reeves is the serial killer, and it doesn't make sense. And then there was a Netflix series that I watched called The Watcher about like this family and they're getting letters from a dude signed The Watcher.
Hmm. I don't know either of those.
Listen. You want me to rank all the Watchers right now?
Yeah, go.
All right.
But we know the Mount Rushmore. They've given us four of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's easy.
Number one, I'll go with
Watcher.
I guess so, and I don't even really love that, but
It was really good.
that's the best one. Number two, I'll say the Netflix series. Number
Okay.
three, the Shyamalan daughter movie,
Yay!
and number four, that weird Keanu Reeves serial killer movie.
Is that bad?
Yeah, that's actively bad.
Okay. I like when Keanu does serial killer movies because there's that River of Grass or not River of Grass. What's that movie called?
River's Edge.
River's Edge.
I mean, that's not a serial killer movie. He only kills one girl.
Isn't Hopper like a serial killer?
No, Hopper's just like a drug addict.
Oh, I
He
thought
doesn't even he doesn't kill anybody. The killer is Daniel Roebuck.
I know, but I thought that Daniel Roebuck like bonded with Hopper because they were both killers or something.
Oh no, I think he just bonded with Hopper because he's like a low life in town that can get him drugs.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. Well, I like when he deals with
What a
killing
film
movies.
though, River's Edge, one of my all-time faves.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
Guy
But,
directed a bunch of episodes of Nip Tuck. I was like, that's what you're doing?
the
That's
early episodes or late episodes?
late episodes.
Man.
Yeah.
But uh, whatever. The ending, the sandworm eats Monica Bellucci.
It's the same shit, right? Sandworm attack.
Yeah,
They it's the same as the first movie. I love sandworms, by the way. Like to
Dune?
me,
They're great in Dune.
but I knew Beetlejuice first. So like I remember seeing Dune for the first time, like the David Lynch Dune, and being like, "Oh, it's like Beetlejuice." Yeah.
I knew it first from SpongeBob. There's a great SpongeBob episode with sandworms.
Really?
Yes, and Sandy rides the sandworms. She has experience. She rides them like horses because she's
There's
from
a
Texas.
character named Sandy.
Sandy Cheeks. You know Sandy Cheeks. She's a squirrel, and she wears a tank on her head so that she can have air, so there's no water.
I can picture that.
So she can breathe.
Yeah, I think I can picture that, and I knew there was a character named Sandy Cheeks, but I didn't know that was the same person.
That's what you get if you sit at the beach too long. Sandy Cheeks. I think that has to be a joke, right? Because they live at a place called Bikini Bottom. Did you know that?
I did.
And she also lives in like a dome house.
What's the name of the burger place?
Uh, they make Krabby Patties. What's the name of the place
Yeah, right,
called?
Krabby Patty. I
What's
think
the name of
that's
the
what I was
place
thinking. I
called?
don't know.
Hey Siri, where does SpongeBob work?
SpongeBob works as a fry cook at the Krusty Krab restaurant in Bikini Bottom.
The Krusty Krab.
So much detail.
She's great,
That
Siri.
was the greatest Siri answer I've ever
That's why I
heard.
rely on her so much. I don't just do it on the podcast, by the way. I really do. I ask Siri tons of questions.
That's so
Hey
funny.
Siri, what are you doing tonight? No.
Hey, listen, you're spoken
Oh,
for.
oh, oh, okay. No, that's not true. Anyway, so
You haven't had that combo yet?
no, of course not.
Okay, good.
So
Keep it that way.
is that Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice?
That is Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. By the way, it cost $100 million to make, which is fairly low by this generation's standards, and it is a hit. Tim Burton has not had a hit since Alice in Wonderland. Like this was the longest streak of his career of his movies not making money, and this. I mean, he's gonna have this pick of the litter after this one.
Yeah.
It's already at $264.3 million. It's only been out a couple weeks. It's number 9 at the box office for the year right now. But I noticed that the three things right ahead of it only have like a couple million more than this does, and those are out
Wow.
of theaters already. So it's gonna get to at least number 6.
And this has only been out for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, this has only been out since September 6th.
11
So
days.
it's definitely gonna get ahead of Bad Boys, Kung Fu Panda, and Godzilla, and then
Forgot about Godzilla.
yeah, and then it'll probably end up at number 6 here. And the top 5 right now are Twisters, Dune Part 2, Despicable Me 4, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Inside Out 2.
It's amazing we've gone this long without Despicable Me. They've been such a staple of like the 2010s franchises. It's
I
crazy.
I never want to cover Despicable Me.
It's fair. They also have the Minions. Are there two
That
Minions at this
that's the
point?
I think there are 3.
Oh my
And
god.
that's the real problem for me is like when you do Despicable Me, you're not just doing 4 movies, you're doing 7.
Yeah, right. I don't want to do it either. I think we could pick
Yeah.
and choose probably what we want to do. Maybe not. Um, but anyway, next week. We decided what we're gonna do next week. Do we have any Patreon? I feel like we did. I feel like nobody cared about Beetlejuice, which was really surprising to me.
When did you put it up?
Like over like a long time ago,
Huh.
18 hours ago.
Oh, that's not long enough.
People have plenty of time. Sometimes I upload it like 7 hours before we
You
record.
should do it like a few days before.
Maybe I should, but people had time.
All right, whatever. Um,
But next week, right?
yeah, all right. So
We're
here's
come Beetlejuice, then Beetlejuice.
let's straight up announce all the shit. All right. Next week, we're doing a one-off, and it's gonna be real fun because we're gonna wrap up the summer with a great beach movie called Into the Blue.
Hell
All right.
yeah.
That's with our good friend Paul Walker, Brian, and and also Jessica Alba.
And Scott Kahn is in that. Some blonde girl that he dates in the movie. Thanos
Right.
is in it.
That
Josh or James
Josh Brolin.
I always
Josh
forget.
Brolin.
Awesome.
And
That was like the
then
first time I ever knew Josh Brolin.
pretty much everybody, yeah.
Oh, really?
And then the second one we're going to talk about, Into the Blue 2, The Reef, which is directed by the guy that made Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and also The Mighty Ducks. He's a real staple of the show. And that one's straight to video one. It has Luke from the OC.
Welcome to the OC, bitch.
That's how we do it in Orange County. Don't forget that part. Yeah. And he also plays Link currently on Grey's Anatomy. And it's got Laura Vandervoort, who played fucking Supergirl on Smallville. And also appearances by Survivor legends Amanda Kimmel and Parvati Shallow, and the Hills legend Audrina Patridge.
Wow.
Yeah. So you'll be loving our coverage of Into the Blue in 1 week's time. And then, guys, get ready, because after that, it's time for the spookiest month of the year. There's gonna be ghouls and goblins and slime.
I was waiting for you to say slime. It's your favorite thing.
Yeah.
What do you do when you don't mess with slime for 11 months?
I
Are you
don't
just
know, man.
depressed?
Probably. Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, so the big Halloween movie this year is gonna be Hellraiser. We're gonna
All
cover
11 of
every
them.
single Hellraiser movie. There were 10 in the original run. I believe 4 of them were theatrical and 6 of them were straight to video. And then the remake.
Who's in that? Do we know who plays the Hellraiser? Is he Pinhead Hellraiser?
Doug Bradley, I think, is
Is
Pinhead's
that the
name.
villain Pinhead? Yeah.
Yeah. The remake came out during the pandemic. I didn't particularly like it. I don't think it has anyone famous in it, but it was directed by the fellow that made the Ritual, which is a movie I like.
Is that with Anthony Hopkins?
No, that's a terrible movie. No, the Ritual was like an indie horror movie where like a bunch of dudes are trapped in the woods.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Um, but so that's very exciting. You like Hellraiser? Are you a fan of this franchise?
I have only seen the first 3 and the remake. So there's a bunch I haven't seen. And of the first 3, I honestly don't remember the sequels that well. Like I've watched the first one's a movie I really like and watch every couple of years.
I hear it's gnarly, people say.
It's
It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre level.
I don't think it's even that bad, but
No.
it's got like a sexual BDSM element to it. So like it freaks people out.
Mhm.
But I like that movie a lot and I revisit it fairly often, but I haven't seen the sequel since I was a kid.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I've never seen any of them, so I'm excited to.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll see if the music in Hellraiser 2 is
That's
really
true.
good. Yeah.
That's very true. It won an award. Which one? I guess we'll find out.
It beat Beetlejuice for the Saturn Award.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do Psycho. Maybe that'll be next year, guys, or maybe next year. Let us know. Do you guys prefer when
I
we
feel
do?
like Psycho is short enough that we could just do it mid-year at some point.
Was it like 5? It's like 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, it's the 4 Anthony Perkins ones. It's the Gus Van Sant remake.
That's your favorite one, right?
Of course. And it's Bates Motel.
Right. Yeah, yeah, that'll be fine then. But do you guys like when we do long franchises for Halloween or short ones?
Let us know, but I do think we ought to change it up here and there. Like
Right.
and we've been doing shorter ones. Like the first few years of the podcast, we did like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, like back to back to
I
back.
remember me and you did Saw the first year I did it.
Yeah,
we did
that
last
was
year.
a good one. I had fun doing Saw. I feel like
That
those
was
are
one
the
of my favorite things
memorable
we did.
ones when we really do like a deep dive into a long franchise.
Saw Planet of the Apes. Those are like the big ones that I remember.
Yeah. So let's we're gonna do that for October. 11 Hellraiser movies.
Oh man, yeah. Do we know how we're doing it? I guess we have a week to figure it out. Like the setup for the movies, but anyway.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll
Anyway,
figure it out.
Guys, it's been a chill time this week. Wait, did we like rate it? We didn't do any of that.
Did we not?
I give it a 3.
Really?
And Ortega's my MVP and Bellucci's my LVP.
I'll give it a 3 also. My MVP is going to be Catherine O'Hara. My LVP is Jeffrey Jones. Ryder Strong hasn't seen it yet. Oh, yeah, we really didn't do this stuff. Because my second installments list, you guys were like, they ended the episode without him finish telling us where the second installments was. You guys are so confused. But no, I'm going to tell you. I put it, this might be too low. I put it 123 of 187 between Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules, and To All the
worse than Roderick Rules?
Maybe. And To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You.
I've never seen any of those. We should cover those.
That'll be
movies.
fun. I saw the first 2. I think there's 3.
I've seen that Lana Condor and other stuff, and I think she's pretty good.
I really like her. She's very good.
Yeah.
This was better than there was like this was like same year as The Kissing Booth.
Don't talk shit about The Kissing Booth.
I know
on this
I know.
podcast. Okay.
I know. But these were like the better version of that. More artistic.
Excuse me.
I know.
Excuse me.
I know. The
Kissing
second
Booth.
Kissing Booth 2 is bad, really bad.
Listen, but Kissing Booth 1
3 is
is
good
a
too.
it's okay. But 1 is a summer classic. Like that should be a perennial. Everybody should watch Kissing Booth every summer.
Every single summer.
Yeah, every single summer. Like
All
around
right.
June.
It's fair enough.
You watch Kissing Booth the last week of June, then we watch Jaws on July 4th, and then you go about
And
your
Weekend
business.
at Bernie's.
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's for sure.
And next week, our movie next week you can watch during the summer, Into the
Into the
Blue.
Blue. Yeah. So come on back for that.